What's up, Men's Physique fans? That is a wrap on the 2023 Men's Physique Mr. Olympia prejudging. Your boy had the opportunity to sit front and center to break down all of the details that I'm going to give to you guys in this video. Starting off with our top two, Brandon Hendrickson, our three-time champion, potentially four-time champion, and the pride of UK, the man who has done everything in this sport other than win the Mr. Olympia. He has placed as high as second. He has won Arnold Classics, and now he has the opportunity to bring home a Sandow trophy and win the Men's Physique Mr. Olympia. Guys, this is absolutely insane. Let's quickly break down the top two. Brandon is a model of consistency. Brandon continuously brings a package that is deserving of that top spot of every single show that he does. Now, one thing that truly separated him this year compared to his previous years was his posing. That was what truly likely lost him the 2022 Mr. Olympia against Aaron Banks, was the fact that his self-sabotaging posing was giving his look not the emphasis that it deserved, because he looked great. It just wasn't being displayed, and also he was doing a lot of added movements that just wasn't what the division likes to see. It likes very simple front back shots and a little bit of personality through the transitions. That's it. Now, Ryan Terry. Guys, let me say this. As a fan of the division, as a fan of his physique, I'm very happy to see Ryan in a conversation for the win. Ryan is somebody who also brings a lights out package at almost every single show that he does, which is why he's always in the conversation at every single show that he does. Now, going back to the early days of the men's physique division, Ryan was always a staple. He was always in the conversation, just like he is now, but the only difference is it looked like Ryan was unable to put on enough tissue consistently in order to keep up with the way the division was trending. But with the new emphasis, right, focusing on conditioning, focusing on taper, focusing on balance, Ryan finds himself in the conversation to win his very first Mr. Olympia, and for a good reason. If you were to ask me who do I think right now is in first place to win, I'd probably lean a little bit more towards Ryan. His back was more complete. He has brought his back up drastically. His posing and his back shot was so much better. Last year, he found himself pinching way too much. This year, he was consistent with his posing. His erectors popped, and he was on point. His back was better today, and also his conditioning was always more emphasized. Even if they're the same body fat percentage, Brandon and Ryan, it just looked more emphasized on Ryan's physique. Now, the third and fourth place spots. Emmanuel Hunter and Aaron Banks. Now, if you were to ask me who placed third at this year's Mr. Olympia based off of prejudging, I would lean more towards Emmanuel Hunter, simply due to the fact that this man was extremely complete. He was bubbly, right? He had a great taper. His posing was on point. His back shot was the best it's ever been. His detail through his back is the best that it's ever been. His confidence on stage was the best that it's ever been. Now, Aaron Banks. Aaron looked great. The only thing about Aaron is he's being judged against his previous selves. If this was Aaron's first Olympia, he would look awesome. But at the end of the day, he has won Mr. Olympias, he has won Arnold Classics, he's won multiple shows, and now he's always going to be compared against himself. He looked a little bit flat on stage. He didn't have that emphasis, that pop that it typically comes with his physique. That's why I find him right now being in that third or fourth place spot. But again, if you take a step back and look at it holistically, I do believe Emmanuel Hunter brought a better package at prejudging compared to Aaron Banks. So I think they're going to be compared very heavily today at finals. Again, Aaron is very polarizing. A lot of people don't necessarily like Aaron, not because of his physique, but mainly due to the fact of who he is and maybe the way that he went about it when he held his title. But it's crazy to sit here and say, just at prejudging, Aaron Banks will not be winning the 2023 Mr. Olympia. And right now, the question is, will he even be in the top three? So if you ask me, I think Aaron has a great opportunity to come back better at finals, come a little bit fuller, come a little bit sharper, and edge out Emmanuel. But as of now, I do have Emmanuel winning that third place spot at the 2023 Mr. Olympia. Now, fourth and fifth place. This one is a little controversial because truthfully, it's up in the air. I truly don't know. Again, another conversation, whether it's Corey Morris, Emmanuel Hunter. I do believe Corey should have placed higher. It's just that simple. I think Corey looked absolutely amazing. I think the conversation should have been more between Emmanuel Hunter versus Corey Morris. And if I look at these physiques, I do think Corey Morris could even edge out Emmanuel, not only just through the back, but also through the front. I think his posing, I think his taper, I think his fullness, his roundness, his pop was all there. I just think it was showed a lot better on his physique compared to Emmanuel. Even though those guys look absolutely amazing, brought amazing packages, I just think that Corey Morris, his look today was slightly underrated and undervalued. I think this man could be battling it out for the top spot. I think his physique warranted that look. And again, I think he should have been sent off with those 3 and then brought back out for the final comparison so we can take a step back and look. Now, who's also battling it out for that spot, we have Diogo Montenegro, our previous 3rd place finisher, who I actually had sitting at 6th place going in my predictions, and this looked like he's battling it out for that 6th place spot and likely going to finish around that. I think he has a great taper. I think his V-line compared to his shoulder to waist ratio is just emphasized. He's somebody who is always going to be in the conversation just based off of that. I think his back is one of the most underrated backs in the men's physique division. I think it was on point today. What I don't think was 100% all the way in was his midsection, and I think he could have brought a little bit more fullness to the stage. And again, I'm a huge fan of Diogo, especially with how emphasized his look is, being a smaller guy, but also being able to compete with the bigger guys. I just think that in order to compete with these bigger guys who are on point, he needs to be on point with his fullness, because his structure will keep him in that conversation. But in order to edge them out consistently, he needs to be consistent with his fullness. That's it. I think he brought a hell of a package. I think that this man could still one day be a Men's Physique Mr. Olympia if he 100% nails it and his midsection comes in. I just think that this year was not his year. I don't think he nailed it, but he could be significantly better and move up at finals. Guys, the dark horse of the show, somebody who I truly believe could have been in that conversation or just a little bit higher compared to where he plays, Ben Quill. Ben Quill ended up placing somewhere in the 3rd callouts, dead center in the 3rd callouts. I think when he walked out on stage, his pop was absolutely insane. I think that this man brought the best package he's ever brought to any stage this weekend. And unfortunately, he just wasn't getting that look, right? I think there's a lot of things on his physique he still needs to improve on, but I think this show was a show of people being off more than people being on. I think those who were just consistent or on point, that were in the conversation simply because of that. I think more people were off, and that's why they ended up falling. And again, same thing, I think Ben was on. I think he was the best version of himself, so I do see him a little bit higher. Same thing with Kaiki. I think Kaiki should have been a lot higher than where he was. I think he did end up in the 2nd callouts, and I had him being in the 1st callouts in that top 8 just based off of the way that he presented during individuals and during the 1st comparison rounds, but I don't think he was compared with the top guys, so it was hard to see whether or not he just truly deserved it, but based off of the look, I think he did. And again, this year, the men's physique division is going to change. Now, the real question is, what is the division standard going to transition to? Or is it going to transition? Are they still looking for the taller, slimmer, more athletic style physique? Aaron Banks, when he's 100% on. Corey Morris, or are they going more towards the Brandon Hendricksons? Or are they going more towards the Ryan Terrys? Like, again, is it because they weren't 100% on, that's why they didn't get that spot? Or is it because these guys are what the division wants to transition to? Again, the standard is not necessarily the tall, small waist. I think the standard is simply based off of who shows up the best that day. Again, there's a standard for the division, but I think there's a lot of people, anybody in that top 10 likely fits that standard. It's just if they're 100% and if it's emphasized enough. Guys, this is a crazy year for the division. We've seen the titles change hands already multiple times in all of the divisions across the board. So there's no different here for the Men's Physique 2023 Mr. Olympia. We will have a new champion. Now the question is it going to be your 4-time champion or the very first Men's Physique champion, Ryan Terry? Comment below, who do you guys think is going to win it? And again, if you see this after prejudging or after finals, let me know who you think should have won. We'll see you guys soon. Again, we're going to do another breakdown video for finals. Stay tuned.